Hey, it's carlyrae here, and welcome to my Hey, it's carlyrae book club on YouTube. Today it's virtual book review day, and I'm so excited to talk about this book. You guys have been requesting it. This book is on the New York Times bestseller list, and it's a YA fantasy, and you guys know I love YA fantasy. Now, I have so many thoughts about this book. I have read mixed reviews online, so I'm so excited to talk about it on my channel and to give you guys my thoughts personally on this book. But before I tell you guys which book it is, you guys need to hit that subscribe button and then hit the bell to be alerted of all the new videos on my channel. So, what book are we going to be talking about today on Hey, it's carlyrae? It is Lore by Alexandra Bracken. Okay, here's a close-up of this book. I'm sure you guys have seen this book out. I've seen it like everywhere. And at first I was a little hesitant to read this book because, I mean, it's a thick book. I think it was about almost like, it's like 460 pages. But I decided to give this book a read because I love Greek mythology and I love books that incorporate that. And I haven't really read anything close to competing against the Percy Jackson series in a while. So I was like, hey, let's read this book. So I got so many thoughts about it. Before I tell you guys my thoughts, I'm going to give you guys an overview. So if you haven't read it yet, don't worry about it. It's a spoiler-free video. And if you guys do have your copy of this book, you guys can hit the pause button, go and grab it, and then come back and join me. So let's start talking about all things lore. So what is lore about? Lore centers around the character of Lore. This is where we get the title of this book. And Lore escapes the Aragon. Now, what is the Aragon? Aragon is where, like, there's all these, like, different, like, family lines. And there are the 9 gods that come to Earth every 7 years. And as punishment from Zeus, they have to live as mortals. Now, they have to survive as mortals. So they still have their divine power, their divine looks, and everything like that. But mortals can kill them and take their power. So it's kind of like this cycle. So even if a mortal kills, like, say, Poseidon, they get Poseidon's powers. The next Aragon, another mortal can come and kill them. So there's all this, like, back and forth of people always struggling for power and everything like that. So Lore's family is involved. She's related to, like, the Poseidon bloodline, but Lore's family gets brutally murdered, and it crushes Lore, and she escapes the Aragon. Now, we meet, basically, this book starts off with it starting again of the Aragon, which is, like, every 7 years, and we meet Lore. She's again in New York City. It's, like, her city. She was taken in by this, like, elderly man who she helps care for, which there's a mystery involving him. You guys will have to check out this book to find out. But so she decides to stay in New York City even though she knows this Aragon is happening in New York City because they, like, pick different cities every 7 years, and she decides to stay, and she gets basically pulled back into this world that she tried to get away from because her childhood crush, partner, everything like that comes back into her life, Castor, who she thought was dead, and she can't put, like, that aside. Like, she wants to go and see him, so she gets pulled back into this world, and this is where she meets, like, Van again, which is also one of Castor's friends, and he's, like, his protector. But Castor is not who she remembered. Castor was basically really sick as a child. She thought he died, and now he is a god. He has taken on a god's powers. Which god, you guys will have to check out this book to find out. But so he has this divine strength and everything, and he can't remember, like, how he has all of his powers. Or does he? You guys, again, check out this book to find out. So we get all this involved, and now that it is the Aragon, you know, everybody's hunting for these mortals, but they also are hunting Lore. I'm not going to tell you guys why, because that's, like, the big mystery in it. But Athena, the goddess seeks Lore out because she gets hurt. And Lore decides to tie her life to this goddess in order to get back at Wrath, who she thinks murdered her family. Well, did he murder her family? Either way, Wrath is coming to destroy, like, all of these bloodlines, all these rivalries. He's turning everybody against each other, and Lore has to survive long enough to, like, end all this. But is she strong enough to do so? You guys will have to check out Lore to find out. Now, I got a ton of messages about my thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts about Lore, and I do have a few, like, issues with Lore, and I know it might not be a popular opinion, but my first thing with Lore is I felt like there was so much information at the beginning of this book, like, I had to put it down for a while and then come back to it because I was really, really confused. Like, I did not know, like, what the heck was going on. Like, it took me, like, a few chapters, and at first I thought, like, maybe it was me, and I did read on Goodreads, a lot of you guys were saying, like, how there was, like, a lot of info dumping in the beginning, and I think so too. I wish it would have been, like, interwoven throughout it. My other issue with this book was the romance, okay? I love YA romance. I love romance in books, but I don't always think it's necessary, and I don't think Lore needed a romance. Okay, I think Lore is a great character. She's super strong. She is like defiant. She's strong-willed. She's everything like a awesome protagonist needs to be. But the romance just was like not there. Like her and Castor, I didn't feel really their chemistry. I felt like there needed to be more chapters where we saw maybe a connection like when they were younger, and then we could feel their connection as they're older, because I never really fully felt a connection there. Now, the romance between, I will say, like Miles with another character, I thought was great. I love that, but I wanted more. Again, I feel like I didn't get as much as I wanted out of it. And this book is like really, really long. Okay, it's really freaking long. And if there's enough pages in there for us to have a little more of the romance like developed. So that was my other thing, is I felt like the romance wasn't really developed, and I would have just rather not had any romance. My other issue with this book was like some of the phrases were really, really like repeated. Like, how many times does Lore bite the inside of her mouth and taste blood? A lot. So I felt like if the book maybe was a little shorter, then maybe there wouldn't have been so much like redundancy of phrases, because I felt like that was like another issue. And then, yeah, again, I mentioned like the length of the book. I did feel like the length was long, okay? It is 460 plus pages, and I don't mind some books that are long, but again, I felt like Lore was just a little too long, okay? I felt like if we got rid of some of the chapters, then, you know, the plot maybe didn't seem, I know, like, again, on Goodreads, there were some reviewers that said it, you know, went in a circle. Yeah, I kind of got that too, so I feel like it would have been shorter. It wouldn't have done that. I will say I love the cover of Lore. This is such a great cover. I love the title. And like the pages in Lore are actually thicker than other pages. So I thought they did an awesome job in like manufacturing this book, because there's like a whole map in the beginning and everything like that. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but yeah, I mean, check out this map. And then like the pages, again, are like super thick. So I thought it was great quality, but I did have, again, a few issues with that. So I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts on Lore. Now, I did, again, put this on my social media. I got a ton of questions. So I'm picking 6 questions today that we're going to be talking about in today's Q&A. So let's get started. So the first question that I got in today's Q&A is from Taylor from Instagram. Hey, Taylor. You said the length seems long. Thoughts? Okay, I did touch base on that. Yes, the length is long. I will say that. I will say some parts I felt like we could have done without, so I did think this book was a little long. Cassie from Facebook. Hey, Cassie. You said, I have read there is info dumping at the beginning. Is that true? Okay, again, I touched base on this. Yes, there is a lot of info dumping at the beginning. What I recommend doing is maybe reading a spoiler-free overview so you kind of have an idea of what's going on in the book, and then starting the book, and I don't feel like it will be as confusing, because for me, I felt like it was confusing. So I feel like if you guys, you know, read an overview that has no spoilers, you guys will definitely know what's going on, and it will definitely help. Rebecca from Twitter. Hey, Rebecca. You said, would you read Lore again? Personally, I don't think I will read Lore again. Again, I liked the character, so I might read some parts of it, but I don't know if I will read it from the beginning to the end. I know, like, maybe knowing, like, what happens, it might be better, but for right now, I'm not reading Lore again, but I will keep you guys posted. Jessie from Instagram. Hey, Jessie. You said, how great was the Greek mythology in this book? I love Greek mythology. I did think she did an awesome job in writing the Greek mythology in this book. But again, there was either like areas where it was like a lot of information and not interwoven throughout it. So I wish there was like a little more of that. Again, I'm comparing it to like Percy Jackson, and I'm like a huge Percy Jackson fan. So I kind of wish it was a little more straightforward in this book and not so like in one section, I guess, if that makes sense. Matt from Facebook. Hey, Matt. You said, who was your favorite character? My favorite character was definitely Lore and Miles. I loved the character of Miles. He was great. I love the character of Lore because she's so strong and she really carried this book until the end. But I loved Miles' personality, so those were my 2 favorite characters. Kelly R. from Twitter. Hey, Kelly, you said, I love the cover. Does it relate to the story? Yes, I kind of picture this as Lore. I don't know. But I think that it definitely relates to the story. It ties in Greek mythology in like an all-new way, and it's an awesome cover. So that concludes today's Q&A session on Hey, It's Carly Rae. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's review of lore on my channel. I wanted to come on here and give you guys my thoughts because the lore has been everywhere. Again, it's a New York Times bestseller book. So I wanted to talk about it on my channel. Be sure to comment below. Let me know your thoughts. If you guys are obsessed with lore, I want to hear why. If you guys have, some problems that you were thinking about when you were reading the book and you weren't sure if you were alone, let me know. I'd love to talk more about lore. You guys can find out more on HeyitsCarlyRae.com. You guys can also follow me on social media. You guys can follow me on Instagram at HeyitsCarlyRae, on Pinterest at HeyitsCarlyRae, on Twitter at HeyitsCarlyRae1. You guys can also follow me on Facebook. I have HeyitsCarlyRae's page, and then I have Hey, It's Carly Rae's book club, so there's 2 pages on there. And then I also have a book club group called Hey, It's Carly Rae's book club. So go and follow me on social media. I am everywhere. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Be sure, again, to let me know your thoughts on lore. Subscribe, hit the bell, and hit the thumbs up. Have an awesome day, guys. Bye.
Say I don't answer the messages or pick up my phone. Say we all need some time just to settle down.